Nobody talks about how much stuff you should order when you first get started on Amazon, but nobody really talks about what to do if you get that wrong. So in this video, I'm going to give you a simple way of evaluating exactly what you should do if it looks like you're going to run out of stock. Now, if you like this kind of video where I'm showing you ways to make more money on Amazon or get started on Amazon, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. That way I'll know that you like this kind of stuff and I can do more of it for you. And also consider subscribing to my channel. We post brand new videos just like this each and every day, all about how you can get started and make money on Amazon here in Australia. If you've got any questions or anything you think I should like to know, or just even a question for me about Amazon, post below and I'll get that for you too. Alright, let's get into the video. So now we've figured out that it's going to take us about 90 days to get our stock. Now what does that mean? Think about this logically now. So now we're going to order our product. 90 days later that product's going to arrive in Amazon's FBA warehouses. Okay, cool. I put my stock into the warehouse. Now immediately I need to think to myself, well, given it's going to take me 90 days, let's say the next time you do it, it's faster because everybody knows what they're doing. Instead of taking 90 days, it's going to take you 60 days, okay? So now you've got to start planning, because when your stock hits Amazon, you have got to think, if I start selling really, really well, I've got 60 days that it's going to take me to get new stock into my Amazon store. Does that make sense? Like if that's the production time and the lead time and the shipping and all that other stuff that we have to get done, if that's 60 days, then you need to plan 60 days into the future so that you can order your stock ready for the cycle of ordering and selling stock that we all go through as e-commerce entrepreneurs, okay? Sales forecasting, exactly that, Davo, yeah. So that's interesting. You've got to kind of think about that, which kind of ought to have you thinking to yourself, well, how much stock do I need to order? So you really want to have, I reckon, 90 days worth of stock on hand. So that ought to be your goal for your first order, to order 90 days worth of stock. Now, you are not going to get that right. You just are not going to get it right because you've got no freaking idea how well your thing's going to sell, okay? And you're either going to err on the side of caution, or you're going to err on the side of, I'm just going to order shitloads of stuff and just go for it, okay? Most folks, though, err on the side of caution. And so that opens them up to running out of stock. Running out of stock. Now, you can argue that it is actually better to run out of stock than it is to have too much stock. And I think there's a good argument both ways for that. So if you are cautious by nature, and as a beginner, you really ought to be cautious by nature, I think then that begs the question, what the hell do you do if you're gonna run out of stock? So let's talk about that. So before I tell you the solution, let me kind of take a step back and tell you a little bit about the way Amazon's platform works. Specifically, when we list our products onto Amazon, we will develop internally that Amazon sees a sales history, how fast our product is selling, what search terms it sells for, what the velocity of our product is, so how many sales per day, at what time of day, and all these other things, like what search terms lead to sales, what search terms don't lead to sales. And Amazon's collecting data. Data. And that's really, really good. So you've launched your product, you've made some sales, you've ranked your product onto Amazon. Then you're thinking to yourself, fuck, I'm going to run out of stock. What happens now? Well, what will happen if you run out of stock will depend on how long you're going to be out of stock for. So Amazon tends for the most things, it works on a 7-day rotating cycle. That's what tends to happen. So rank for products, for instance, is on a 7-day rotating cycle. Meaning if you're ranking for something, then you're typically ranked for that 7-day period, rolling, whilst Amazon will move you around a little bit. It'll be pretty static for 7 days, okay? And then after that, it's open field. So it's the same thing for that, because what you're trying to accomplish is to maintain your rank on Amazon. You don't want to have to do a whole new launch process to re-rank yourself. And that is a huge cost if you happen to have to do that. So you want to avoid it. So here's how that happens. Amazon works on a 7-day rolling thing, except for rank related to running out of stock, and that works on a 14-day thing. So if you are going to run out of stock and you will have new stock in your stores within 14 days of running out, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You'll probably just have to do a teeny tiny little Amazon PPC, campaign to get you re-ranking and just to kind of re-educate. Hey, I'm back. It's all still good. Remember me. I made all those sales for you. It's all still good. Okay. It's 14 days if you're within that 14 days window. However, once it goes past 14 days, you lose everything. Everything is gone and you've got to relaunch. You'll have to relaunch your product. So you want to avoid that, okay, by ordering sufficiently to avoid that. It's hard to do. Stock rotation, stock control, forecasting, very, very difficult to do, but do whatever you can to avoid it. So if you are going to run out of stock and you are going to take longer than 14 days to get your stock in, here's what you should do. You should immediately put all your prices up. So everything you sell that you're going to run out of, put it up in price, like double it in price. You at least want to be the highest priced product in that category, at least 5% extra, okay? So the highest person selling, add 5% more to their price. That is your new price whilst you're going to be trying to control what's happening on Amazon. Normally, that's a freaking disaster to do, because what will happen is your sales will slow down and you'll teach Amazon that that's where your new sales velocity is, where your new daily sales total is. You don't want to do that normally. You want to maintain your previous stuff. But if you're going to run out anyway, and you're going to have to relaunch anyway, you may as well try and make as much money as possible to pay for your launch, because all of that history is going to get deleted and won't matter anyway. Does that make sense? So you might as well just go for money. Try and make as much of it as you possibly can. What you sometimes find out is that putting your price up so much, 10% more than everybody else, actually doesn't make any difference at all to your sales. And it's super surprising when that happens. You just kind of carry on making as many sales as you were. And that's a cool thing to learn, because you get to learn when you relaunch, that's your new price as well, okay? And then when you get your stock in, you'll have some extra money and you can use that money to relaunch your product. That's how you handle that. It's not a perfect situation, but it's as good as it gets, all right? That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. There are 2,500 members and growing right here in Australia. We're the fastest growing e-commerce community here in Australia, and we've got sales of over $50 million on Amazon alone. If you'd like to find out more about what we do and check out what we're and come and join us as well, then get yourself off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. See you next time.